Welcome back to Liberty Coin History, the channel where even the dirtiest, most forgotten coins can sometimes reveal an incredible story. Today we're taking a close look at one of the most interesting Lincoln Wheat Pennies ever made, the 1946 United States Wheat Penny with no mint mark, found in worn, dirty condition. At first glance, this old penny may not look like anything special. It might be covered with decades of dirt, scratches, and discoloration after passing through countless hands. Many people would simply toss it into a jar or spend it without a second thought. But experienced collectors know that every old coin deserves a closer look, because hidden among ordinary examples are pieces with fascinating history, rare varieties, and surprising collector demand. So before you ignore that old penny sitting in your collection, stay with me until the end because you may learn exactly what separates a common coin from one that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. The story of the 1946 wheat penny begins just after the end of World War II. America was entering a new era of peace. Soldiers were returning home, industries were changing back to civilian production, and millions of new coins were needed for everyday commerce. The United States Mint struck enormous numbers of Lincoln Wheat Pennies to keep up with demand. Philadelphia produced these coins without a mint mark, while Denver and San Francisco struck their own versions with D and S mint marks. Because so many Philadelphia coins were made, finding a 1946 penny without a mint mark is not unusual. However, that doesn't mean every example is identical. The condition, strike quality, color, and the possibility of genuine mint errors can dramatically influence collector interest. If you have a dirty 1946 wheat penny, the first thing you should remember is not to clean it. Many beginners believe that making an old coin shiny will increase its value, but the opposite is usually true. Cleaning can leave tiny scratches, remove the natural surface, and permanently reduce collector appeal. Even a coin that appears dark, stained, or covered with decades of natural tunning may be worth more in its untouched condition than after aggressive cleaning. Professional collectors and grading services generally prefer coins that have aged naturally, because their original surfaces tell the true story of the coin's journey through history. Now let's examine the design that made the wheat penny one of the most beloved American coins ever produced. The front features Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Around the portrait you will see the words "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date 1946. Because this coin was struck in Philadelphia, there is no mint mark beneath the date. On the reverse are two graceful wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto EPLURIBUSUNUM across the top. Even after decades of circulation, these classic details continue to attract collectors from around the world. Although millions of 1946 pennies survive today, condition makes an enormous difference. A heavily worn coin with flat details is generally worth only a modest premium over face value. However, examples that escape circulation and still display sharp details, original mint luster, and beautiful red copper color can become much more desirable. Professional grading services carefully examine every detail, assigning numerical grades that help determine market value. As the grade increases, collector demand often increases as well, especially for coins that retain their original appearance after more than 70 years. Collectors also search carefully for genuine mint errors on 1946 wheat pennies. While most coins are perfectly normal, a small number may show off-center strikes, die cracks, clip planchets, or other unusual mint-made characteristics. These errors occurred during the manufacturing process rather than after the coin entered circulation. A real mint error can transform an otherwise ordinary penny into a fascinating collectible. That is why experienced numismatists inspect every old coin under good lighting and magnification, instead of making quick assumptions based only on its dirty appearance. One of the biggest mistakes new collectors make is believing that every old wheat penny is automatically worth thousands of dollars. The truth is far more interesting. Most circulated 1946 no-mint mark pennies are common and affordable, but exceptional examples with outstanding preservation, rare certified mint errors, or unusual characteristics can command much stronger prices. Knowing the difference between a normal circulated coin and a genuinely scarce collectible is one of the most valuable skills a coin collector can develop. Education often saves collectors from disappointment while helping them recognize authentic opportunities. Another fascinating aspect of the 1946 wheat penny is the history it represents. Imagine the people who may have carried this coin in the years immediately following World War II. It may have been used to buy candy, newspapers, groceries, or a bus ticket during one of the most important periods in American history. Every scratch, every mark, and every sign of honest circulation tells part of that journey. Even if the coin is not extremely valuable, it still serves as a small piece of American history that has survived for generations. If you think you have an unusual 1946 wheat penny, examine it carefully using a magnifying glass or coin loop. Compare the lettering, date, and design details with reliable reference images. Look for anything that appears different from a normal coin, but remember that damage caused after leaving the mint is not considered a valuable mint error. If your coin appears especially well preserved or displays a possible mint error, having it evaluated by a respected professional grading service may be worthwhile. A proper authentication can provide confidence about exactly what you own. Coin collecting is exciting because discoveries still happen today. Valuable varieties and impressive condition rarities continue to be found in old collections, estate sales, inherited coin jars, and even pocket change. While most 1946 wheat pennies are common, every collector enjoys the possibility of uncovering something unusual. The thrill comes not only from potential value, but also from learning the history, artistry, and craftsmanship behind every coin. That spirit of curiosity is what keeps the hobby growing generation after generation. As you continue searching through your old pennies, remember that patience and knowledge are your greatest tools. Never rush to clean a coin, never assume every internet rumor is true, and always verify unusual claims through trusted numismatic references. Building experience takes time, but every coin you examine teaches you something new. Whether your 1946 wheat penny turns out to be a common circulated example or a remarkable collectible, it has already connected you with an important chapter of American history and the fascinating world of coin collecting. Thank you for joining me here on Liberty Coin History. I hope today's closer look at the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny has inspired you to check every old coin before spending it. You never know what interesting history, beautiful craftsmanship, or genuine collector treasure could be hiding inside a forgotten coin jar. Our second coin is the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny, one of the classic American coins that many people have seen but very few have truly examined. This particular coin is in dirty, well-worn condition, the kind of penny that has spent decades traveling from one pocket to another before finally ending up forgotten in an old jar or hidden inside a family collection. At first glance, it may seem like nothing more than an old copper cent, but experienced collectors know that appearances can be deceiving. Every scratch, every mark, and every layer of natural tunning tells a story, and sometimes those stories lead to surprisingly collectible coins. Before you overlook a worn 1953 wheat penny, let's discover why it continues to attract attention from collectors across the United States and around the world. The 1953 wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small D mint mark located beneath the date on the front of the coin. America was experiencing tremendous economic growth during the early 1950s, and pennies were essential for everyday commerce. Millions of these coins entered circulation, buying newspapers, candy, groceries, and countless other everyday items. While the Denver Mint produced a large number of 1953 D cents, every surviving example has its own unique history. Some remained in beautiful condition, while others circulated for decades, becoming dark, worn, and covered with natural dirt and oxidation that reflects years of use. One of the first things collectors notice about a dirty 1953 D wheat penny is its color. Freshly minted copper coins once displayed a bright reddish shine, but exposure to air, moisture, and decades of handling gradually changed their appearance. Many examples now show deep brown surfaces or a mixture of red and brown tones. This natural aging is completely normal and often preferred by collectors over coins that have been cleaned. Cleaning an old penny may make it look brighter, but it usually damages the original surface and can reduce its collector appeal. That is why knowledgeable numismatists recommend leaving old coins exactly as they are found. The design of the 1953 D wheat penny is one of the most recognizable in American history. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln, created by Victor David Brenner, surrounded by the words "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date 1953. Beneath the date is the small but important D mint mark showing that the coin was struck in Denver. On the reverse are the famous wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto EPLURIBUS UNUM above. Even on heavily circulated coins, these classic features remain instantly recognizable and continue to inspire collectors of all ages. Although millions of 1953 D wheat pennies were produced, condition plays a major role in determining collector value. A heavily circulated coin with worn details is generally modest in value, while sharply struck examples with original mint luster and attractive red color can command much stronger prices. Professional grading services carefully evaluate each coin's preservation, assigning grades that help collectors understand rarity and market demand. Even small differences in condition can make a significant difference in collector interest. Another exciting reason collectors study the 1953 D wheat penny is the possibility of genuine mint errors. During the minting process, unusual mistakes occasionally occurred, creating coins with off-center strikes, die cracks, clip planchets, or other authentic mint-made varieties. These errors are far less common than normal coins and are carefully sought after by specialists. It is important to remember that damage caused after the coin left the mint is not the same as a genuine mint error, so careful examination is essential before drawing conclusions. Many beginners believe that every old wheat penny is automatically valuable simply because of its age. In reality, knowledge is far more important than age alone. Most circulated 1953 D pennies are common, but exceptional examples with outstanding preservation or verified mint errors can become much more desirable. Learning how to identify these characteristics is one of the most rewarding parts of coin collecting and helps separate ordinary finds from truly collectible pieces. Imagine the incredible journey your dirty 1953 D wheat penny may have taken over the last 70 years. It may have passed through thousands of hands, traveled across several states, rested in cash registers, piggy banks, and old dresser drawers before finally reaching your collection. Every worn detail represents decades of American history. Even if the coin is not rare, it serves as a tangible reminder of everyday life during the 1950s, making it a fascinating historical artifact as well as a collectible coin. If you own a 1953 D wheat penny, take a close look under good lighting using a magnifying glass or coin loop. Examine the date, the mint mark, and the lettering for anything unusual. Compare your coin with trusted reference images, and remember that patience is one of the greatest tools in coin collecting. Many discoveries happen because collectors take the time to inspect every coin carefully, instead of making quick assumptions based on appearance alone. Another important tip is proper storage. Old copper coins should be kept in clean, dry holders that protect them from fingerprints, moisture, and environmental damage. Avoid polishing or scrubbing the surface because once the original finish has been removed, it can never be restored. Preserving a coin exactly as it was found is often the best decision for both historical and collector value. The excitement of collecting wheat pennies comes from the endless possibility of discovery. Every old coin has the potential to teach something new about American history, coin production, and the fascinating world of numismatics. While not every 1953 D wheat penny will be rare, each one represents a genuine piece of history that has survived through generations. That alone makes it worth appreciating and preserving for future collectors. I hope this closer look at the 1953 D Lincoln Wheat Penny encourages you to examine every old coin before you spend it or toss it aside. You never know when an overlooked coin could reveal an interesting story, an unusual variety, or a collectible feature waiting to be discovered. Our third coin today is one of the most talked about Lincoln Wheat Pennies ever produced, the 1955 wheat penny with no mint mark. The coin we're looking at today is dirty, worn, and shows the signs of decades of circulation. Many people would glance at a penny like this and assume it has little or no value, but seasoned collectors know that the year 1955 has earned a legendary place in American numismatic history. Even if your coin looks dark, scratched, or covered with years of natural tunning, it deserves a careful inspection because this date is associated with one of the most famous mint varieties ever discovered. Before you spend or ignore a 1955 wheat penny, let's take a closer look at what makes this year so fascinating to collectors around the world. The 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck during the final years of the classic wheat cent series, which had been in production since 1909. Philadelphia produced these coins without a mint mark, while Denver and San Francisco struck their own versions with the D and S mint marks. Millions of 1955 pennies entered circulation, passing through stores, restaurants, gas stations, and banks across the United States. Because they were used every day, many examples became worn and dirty over time. Today, finding a circulated 1955 wheat penny is not unusual, but collectors always examine this date carefully because of the possibility of rare varieties. One of the biggest mistakes people make is cleaning old coins. If your 1955 wheat penny is dirty, resist the temptation to polish or scrub it. The natural brown color, dark tunning, or even decades of accumulated dirt are often preferable to a clean surface. Cleaning removes the original finish and leaves tiny scratches that permanently reduce collector appeal. Professional coin graders and experienced collectors almost always prefer coins that remain in their original, untouched condition, even when they appear old and unattractive. The design of the 1955 wheat penny is both simple and timeless. The front features Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1955. Because this coin was struck in Philadelphia, there is no mint mark beneath the date. The reverse displays the familiar pair of wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto EPLURIBUS UNUM above. Even on heavily circulated examples, these classic details remain one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. What truly makes the 1955 no mint mark wheat penny famous is the possibility of the legendary 1955 double die obverse. On this rare variety, the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust" appear dramatically doubled because of a mistake during die production. The doubling is strong enough to be seen without magnification, making it one of the most celebrated error coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Genuine examples are extremely scarce and highly sought after by collectors. However, It is important to remember that the vast majority of 1955 no-mint mark wheat pennies are normal strikes and do not display this dramatic doubling. Even if your coin is not the famous double die variety, condition still matters. A heavily worn coin with smooth details is usually worth only a modest premium, while coins with sharp details, original mint luster, or attractive natural red color can command much greater interest from collectors. Professional grading services evaluate every detail of a coin's preservation, and higher grades generally bring stronger prices in the collector market. Collectors also search for other genuine mint errors on 1955 wheat pennies, including off-center strikes, die cracks, clip planchets, and other unusual mint-made characteristics. These are far less common than ordinary coins and can add collector interest when authenticated. It is essential to distinguish genuine mint errors from damage that occurred after the coin entered circulation. Scratches, dents, corrosion, or environmental damage may make a coin look unusual, but they are not considered valuable mint errors. Imagine the journey your dirty 1955 wheat penny has taken over the past 7 decades. It may have been carried in the pockets of workers, students, soldiers, and families during the 1950s and beyond. It may have purchased everyday necessities, passed through thousands of cash registers, or rested forgotten inside an old jar for decades. Every mark on its surface tells part of that remarkable story. Even an ordinary circulated example represents a genuine piece of American history that has survived for generations. If you own a 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny, examine it carefully under bright light. Pay close attention to the date, the lettering, and the words, "In God We Trust." If you notice strong, obvious doubling on these features, your coin may deserve further examination by an experienced collector or professional grading service. Accurate identification is important because many forms of damage or machine doubling can resemble valuable varieties, but are not the same as the famous double die obverse. Proper storage is another important part of preserving old copper coins. Keep your wheat pennies in dry, protective holders, avoid touching the surfaces unnecessarily, and never use harsh chemicals or polishing compounds. Preserving a coin in its original state helps maintain both its historical integrity and its collector appeal. A coin that has survived untouched for decades is often far more desirable than one that has been cleaned in an attempt to improve its appearance. The excitement of searching through old wheat pennies comes from the possibility that an ordinary-looking coin could reveal an extraordinary story. While most 1955 no-mint mark pennies are normal circulation coins, the fame of the 1955 double die continues to inspire collectors to examine every example with care. That sense of curiosity and discovery is one of the reasons coin collecting remains one of the world's most rewarding hobbies. I hope this closer look at the 1955 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny has encouraged you to inspect every old penny before spending it or setting it aside. Whether your coin is a common circulated example, an attractive high-grade survivor, or the legendary double die variety, every wheat penny has a story worth discovering. The dirtiest, most forgotten pennies can turn into shocking treasures. Some look like they have been through decades of hard use, covered in dirt, scratches, and discoloration, but don't let their rough appearance fool you. Hidden among these worn Lincoln Wheat pennies are coins that collectors dream of finding. A few have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars because of their rarity, unique minting errors, or outstanding condition despite their age. Before you toss aside that old jar of pennies sitting on a shelf or tucked away in a drawer, take a closer look. One of those forgotten coins could be hiding a fascinating story and surprising value. If you love discovering the secrets behind rare coins and hidden treasures, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another exciting coin hunt. Now, let's take a closer look at our fourth featured coin, the 1956 D Lincoln Wheat Penny from the United States Mint. The 1956 D Lincoln Wheat Penny may seem like just another old copper coin at first glance. Millions of Americans use these pennies every day to buy candy, newspapers, and groceries, never imagining that collectors decades later would carefully search through jars, rolls, and collections hoping to find a special example. Even if your coin is dirty and heavily worn, it still deserves a careful inspection before you spend it. Sometimes a coin story is just as valuable as its appearance, and even well-circulated examples can attract collectors who appreciate history. The D mint mark beneath the date tells us this coin was struck at the famous Denver Mint. During 1956, the Denver Mint produced well over 1 billion Lincoln Wheat Pennies to meet the nation's demand for small change. Because so many were made, most examples are common today. However, that does not mean every 1956 D penny is ordinary. Collectors always examine these coins closely for unusual characteristics, striking errors, attractive original color, and exceptional preservation that can separate one coin from millions of others. One of the most exciting parts of coin collecting is that condition can make an enormous difference in value. A dirty coin may look unattractive at first, but dirt alone does not determine its worth. Many experienced collectors recommend never cleaning old coins because cleaning can permanently damage the surface and reduce collector value. Instead, leave the coin exactly as you found it and examine it under good lighting. Even a heavily circulated coin may have interesting features that deserve a second look. When inspecting a 1956 D wheat penny, pay close attention to the date, mint mark, lettering, and Lincoln's portrait. Look for unusual doubling, off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, cut errors, or other minting mistakes. While these errors are uncommon, they are exactly the kinds of discoveries that make searching through old pennies so exciting. A genuine mint error can dramatically increase collector interest compared to a normal circulated example. Another important factor is the original color of the copper. Collectors often describe Lincoln cents as brown, red-brown, or red. Coins that retain much of their original bright red mint color are generally more desirable, especially if they have very few marks and little wear. Even though today's featured coin is in dirty condition, taking the time to understand how collectors evaluate color and preservation will help you recognize a better example if you ever find one. History also adds to the appeal of the 1956 D wheat penny. During the 1950s, America was experiencing tremendous growth, and these small copper coins passed through countless hands during an important period in the nation's history. Every worn scratch and faded detail may represent decades of everyday commerce, making each surviving coin a tiny piece of American heritage that has traveled through generations before reaching your collection. Many beginning collectors make the mistake of assuming every old wheat penny is worth a fortune. In reality, value depends on several important factors working together. Date, mint mark, rarity, condition, eye appeal, and the presence of genuine mint errors all influence how much collectors may be willing to pay. Most circulated 1956 D wheat pennies are inexpensive, but exceptional examples or rare error coins can command much stronger prices in the collector market. If you believe you have found an unusual 1956 D wheat penny, compare it carefully with trusted reference images, and consider having it examined by an experienced coin dealer or a professional grading service. Authentication is especially important before assuming a coin is rare or valuable. Professional evaluation can provide confidence about authenticity, condition, and any unusual features that might increase collector interest. One of the greatest joys of coin collecting is the thrill of the search itself. Every handful of old pennies offers the possibility of discovering something unexpected. Whether you're searching through inherited collections, bank rolls, flea markets, garage sales, or forgotten jars of change, every coin deserves a careful look. Many collectors remember the excitement of finding their very first wheat penny, and that feeling often sparks a lifelong passion for numismatics. The 1956 D Lincoln Wheat Penny reminds us that appearances can be deceiving. A dirty, worn coin may not look impressive, yet it carries history, craftsmanship, and the possibility, however small, of being an interesting collectible. Patience, knowledge, and careful observation are the collector's greatest tools. The more you learn about wheat pennies, the easier it becomes to recognize coins that stand out from the ordinary. Thank you for joining me for another exciting coin adventure here on Liberty Coin History. I hope today's look at the 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny encourages you to inspect your own collection before spending those old cents. You never know what hidden treasure could be waiting in your pocket change. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow coin enthusiasts. Leave a comment below telling us the oldest wheat penny you've ever found. And stay tuned because our next rare coin might be even more surprising.